It's just about being a millennial and like that transition of life.
It's the one with Kat Dennings, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's got Kat Dennings and uh, Brenda Song. Um, who are the other two main girls?
I don't know if I've
Yeah,
heard
anyway.
that name since I watched the Disney Channel when I was a kid.
Same.
She's
That's a
hilarious.
fair thing to say.
She's hilarious. I love her.
We've been watching 1883 every Sunday, which has been really good.
Yeah, I've been told that that's the next show you got to watch after Yellowstone.
Yeah, it's got Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, and they play husband and wife in the show. It's very good. On top of Sam Elliott.
Cool, cool. So I know Greg's answer to this one, but how did you all like that halftime show?
Favorite.
Oh, it was
good.
great.
It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Danced and sang along.
I was in the car, so I missed it.
Aw, what time did you guys leave on Sunday?
Well, so Layla's not on the call, so she can't relay it from her perspective. But poor Texarkana, their bus got lost. And they did not leave the property until about 6:30.
Oh no.
Now, thankfully, well, I say thankfully, I wouldn't have been able to leave until then anyway, because since we're storing the trailer there, we had to get the trailer moved, and then Sassy was covering it in a tarp, and Madeline and I were there for moral and emotional support, recognizing that we have zero skills in covering a multi-foot trailer with a tarp. So we cheered him on in the endeavor and watched him catch an armadillo by hand. That was entertaining.
Oh, all the
Our
armadillos
quintessential
out
East
there.
Texas fix.
Oh, wow.
I'll have to send the video. It's pretty hilarious.
I would love to
Hope-
see that.
Hope he doesn't get leprosy.
Well, he held it up like it was his best friend. Hang on.
Oh,
They are kind of
Yeah.
adorable.
I mean, you know, there are uglier creatures. Not many, but there
I
are
think
a few.
they're so cute.
Possums. Possums are uglier.
Yep. All right. Let's see. We'll give maybe a minute or two more for some people. I noticed that not everybody likes to jump in right on time. I think most people wait until like they're on their computer and they wait until 6 p.m. and then hit join, like because they don't want to hang out early here.
Oh my goodness.
That
That's-
is awesome.
Holy cow.
Complete with the single wide horse trailer in the back. So you really get like the full blown East Texas,
All of that.
middle of nowhere.
Not
That
to
is
mention
that
that
picture.
big old lip he's got in.
Well, yeah, that
I wonder
So,
if
yeah.
that's the armadillo I tried to witness to.
too.
I was like,
So yeah,
"Excuse me, sir?"
Texarkana was waiting on their bus with Jeff, and Madeline and I were watching this happen.
Wow.
Glorious.
Wow. Never, there's always something each year.
Oh yeah, always, always.
Oh, there's Molly joining in.
Hey girl, hey.
Hello.
Molly, are you married yet?
Not yet.
When's
1
the
month.
date?
March 19th.
That's so exciting.
Oh,
Woo
stressful.
woo.
Yeah, this is the time where Sierra started getting really mean.
I feel that. Trying to stay calm.
There you go. I'll say my prayers for Double D. Oh gosh. Well, we can kind of go ahead and get started then, y'all. Thank you all for being here this week. we will have more of a business type of meeting here this week to kind of talk about some service and membership kind of things, and then we'll have the pleasure of hearing from a few of our members who were attending RILA, who we sent a couple campers, and they were there supporting that. You know, half the people we have involved here in RILA are actually part of the organization and run it now, so it'll be cool to hear from them and their experiences. So let's see, announcement wise, you know, everybody just reminds you we have next week off as far as a meeting. That will be our board meeting that we have next week. So no need to join in unless you really want to. You all are always welcome to join in if you'd like, but that's what will be going on next week, and we move that back an hour instead of being at 6. Wes, are you trying to talk? You're muted there. Oh, okay. Looked like you were chatting there. So we'll have that next week, and then we will be back together, and I think it's the first Tuesday of March, right? Oh yeah, the 1st of March. And that we'll have a special guest, David Governator, who some of you may know, but he will be coming and speaking to us on what, Sarah? What was that again?
Yeah, he's going to speak on the life of an oil well and as it relates to our lives. Drilling and fracking.
Okay. Cool. Interesting thing to hear about for sure, with every gas prices still going up. So that'll be fun to hear about.
He wanted to talk about his base jumping, but he also wanted to have a whole meeting about skydiving and base jumping. And I told him that I think that the oil would be a really interesting topic for our club, but if he wanted to come back in the future and do a meeting on skydiving, that he could do that.
I saw that video he posted like a week or two. That was insane. Like, I've been skydiving, but he's doing a different level of crazy there.
Yep.
So hopefully he'll give us a picture or video or two, you know, in that. But that's meeting. Before we go into service, do y'all have any other announcements for the group? No? Cool. All right, so we want this to be kind of an open conversation on everything here. So y'all, you know, feel free to come off mute as we kind of look at this. As we presented to y'all 2 weeks ago, the service project for this quarter is a I haven't even been in school in like 10 years. This quarter is kind of a pick your own journey, and spread the love is kind of our whole concept behind this. So we're excited about this one because of the reach that we'll be able to have in different areas, as long as everybody here gets involved. So with this being kind of an open option for that, I'd like to spend some time today kind of discussing some of that. I know we presented it to you just 2 weeks ago, but I'm hoping some of y'all had some time to kind of throw that around and think about it, since you've seen the link to the spreadsheet that has some different options that are posted currently, and that is open for you to also post and put notes and comments and stuff as well, as far as what y'all want to do. So I'm going to pull that spreadsheet up now. I have noticed that not a lot of people have put anything in there yet, so we can talk about that and see if, first of all, just kind of open that up to anybody who may have already kind of been thinking what they're going to do. So floor is open while I pull this up here, guys.
I haven't added this to the spreadsheet yet. My apologies, but I did download an app called Be My Eyes, and I think that might have been mentioned on a previous conversation with you all, but Be My Eyes is a way for people with low vision or no vision to get assistance with reading anything, or showing you where something is, or showing or help with the price at a grocery store, things that they can't see. What I've found, though, is that there are so many more people that have signed up to help than there are people that have signed up for assistance. So you're supposed to get a notification when somebody needs assistance, but I have not seen any come through. So I think that they may just be overwhelmed with volunteers that have downloaded this. But I think it's a really interesting concept. And, if you do know somebody with low vision, this might be something that they would be interested in.
Yeah, so I think you guys are seeing my screen at this point. Let me.
Yeah.
Wrong spreadsheet. Where was that?
So I've actually answered a call through Be My Eyes before, and I was very nervous at first because I didn't want to, tell them the wrong thing. And so my experience was that she needed to know the numbers on her credit card because she was trying to do an online payment. And so she just held out her card, and I just read it out to her, and that was it. And then she said, thank you. And I was like, you're welcome. And then she hung up, and it was all good.
That's actually kind of scary.
I know. That's why I didn't want to be wrong.
I was having the same thought, like identity theft risk much?
Well, I mean, if something were to happen, then, I would definitely get reported because, they know who's answering the call. But there was a point I had to politely ask, like, is there a way that you could please keep it still? Because, she doesn't know where the camera's at, so she's trying to get it so or I can see it so I could tell her. But it worked out.
Okay. So that's probably one of those less than an hour things that you have just from time to time, right? But
yeah, I mean, with my experience so far, I'm not sure we could actually complete it for this service project, but I think that it is a really interesting concept.
that's cool. It's cool to hear somebody who's done that.
Do we know who put in Hugs for Soldier? Is that Hug for Soldiers?
I believe these 3 that were at the top were put in by Madeline initially.
Can you drop that link in our chat?
I can, and this is also in the shared group, which I will first. Let me drop that so that everybody has access to it. You should have received an email about 3-4 weeks ago on this, but if you can't find it, we'll put it in there so that it's at the top. And there's that one. All right. Any other ideas from y'all? And this could be something that y'all have been involved in, previously, another organization that you're passionate about. And part of this is sharing with the team. One of y'all might be doing something that a lot of our group is like, wow, I really want to get involved in that too. So please speak up if you have anything relating to this. Looks like we got a few of you in here already. Everybody's just reading. I can't see y'all's faces when I'm over here.
Yeah, so I mean, here's a little bit more context for what this service project is. Really, the idea is to share the love, and I know that email was sent out, but we wanted an opportunity for people to be able to get involved in something in their community as well. For instance, I live in Grapevine. I don't think that Molly's over here, so but there aren't many of us over here, and I know that the Grapevine Library had a program where you could go and read to kids at the library. And I thought that was an interesting opportunity, but not everyone from our club would be able to do it. So this is really an opportunity for you to be able to get involved in your community. If there is something locally that you would like to get involved in, hence the share the love. Like, let's just give back to our communities, and whether that's you know, locally, or whether that's something that is online where you're sending in cards for hospitalized children, or writing Valentine's Day cards for elderly people. I think that that was something Madeline was interested in. So, Michael, remind me how much more time we have during this quarter for this service project.
Till the end of March, right?
Okay, great. So we've got
Yeah.
a month and a half. So that gives you guys a little bit of time to, if any of these options that are currently in this spreadsheet aren't something that you're very interested in, it gives you time to look and see what's available around you.
You could even just go to visit your local Rotary Club, and they might even have some ideas that service projects they're doing you could jump in on or something.
Yeah, I just saw Longview is running a fundraising project currently. I think Longview Gregton is running one, so if anybody's in that area, there's options. But yeah, that's a really good point. Partner with other organizations or other RILA groups, Rotary groups. My gosh, I'm getting these things all mixed up today. We're so excited on the RILA part to hear
You
from you
just
guys.
missed RILA. See,
I know.
There's something you can do about that next year,
We need you. Please come back.
Yeah.
You want to know how many staffers we had during session 1? That should be incentive enough.
I'm going to try it. Send me the dates for next year now.
We will know them after April 2nd.
Well, if none of you have any other ideas just for this quarter's service project, we wanted also to gauge how you felt about our service projects, and if there were ideas that you had for the future on things that you would want to do as a service project. What are you most passionate about? And if there is something that you are passionate about, then maybe that's something that you could kind of head up and work with Madeline on in getting the information and partnering with another organization or whatever it might be.
I realized I didn't paste this, guys.
Sorry, I have a lot of things going on right here. I'm trying to figure out all the recording stuff, which is going great, by the way. But another thing that we can do kind of locally as well is that schools are always, not just in the beginning of schools or for like winter break or even spring break, but schools like elementary schools are always accepting of school supplies and even like little gift cards. I know that as a church here, we kind of give some like $5 gift cards from Sonic to kids, and their counselors know where to distribute that, but they are always wanting something. So I know there's schools all over the place, so you can just pick one, grab a whole bunch of stuff from Office Max and gift cards, and they'll gladly take them.
I'm writing these ideas down, Michael. I can say.
Oh, you're doing them on the spreadsheet?
Oh no, these are just ideas for future service projects as well.
Sorry.
So I'm just writing them down. I wanted to ask too, maybe Greg might know something that is similar to this, but one thing that I'm really passionate about is keeping parks and waterways clean. But I don't necessarily, I know we've done a service project like that before, an environmental one, but Greg or anybody else, do you know of any organizations that are involved in environmental type service projects?
All I know is down here we have the Turtle Sea Rescue Place. There's some places that do cleanup on the beach a lot, but this one lady started she's called Costa Cleanup. She started a kind of a non-charitable, and I think she really did a good job initially, but she started asking for donations, and it became so they could get a truck. And I kind of not as interested. I feel like she was promoting that more so she could get herself a truck and drive it on the beach. And I just felt like she should have used that money for other things. So I'm not kind of into her. If I clean the beach, I just go myself and do it. But the Sea Turtle organization down here does a lot for just sea turtles, and that's kind of environmental, I guess. But I don't know what else we could really do for that. I mean, that's other than raise money, but they're always looking for money. But I don't know. I've worked with the scuba diving group, but that's usually we just do local. When we're doing a scuba diving trip, we'll make a donation to the local, work with the local Rotary Club and come up with something for that. So I don't have any particular organization or anything. So the Sea Turtles are pretty cool, though. They do a good job. But I guess you could all take a field trip down here and come to South Padre, and we could do a Sea Turtle thing. So.
I'm down. Sign me up.
Well, yeah, thanks for sharing that. I mean, honestly, saving the sea turtles sounds like an awesome project to work on. The hard part is getting everyone there, or getting everybody access to a place where we can go and save the sea turtles.
Oh, we can just get one of those big old places, rent it. There's some nice places. They have pools, your own private pool and everything. So no, I'm just kidding. But no, it's a good organization. But yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, no real other ideas, I guess. So
I just did a quick Google search and dropped a link there that's specific to the Texas waterways, just because that's what you were talking about, Sarah. But this group that I found seems to be a nonprofit that's about just cleaning Texas in general. So waterways and other kinds of locations also, but they have affiliate groups that you can find based off of your location. And it depends, I guess, on where you are as to how much involvement or what they do specifically, but it might be a good place to start.
I know our Rotary Club adopted a highway, and that's kind of hard for us to do that with all of us spread out. But you know, it's kind of a cool thing to do. We just kind of help clean up a section of the highway, and another environmental thing, but kind of hard. I don't know, you know, that would be something maybe to partner with your local Rotary Club or something if they're doing it.
Yeah, there is a group. I mean, it's on the same website. So I know our Rotary Club in Bryan partnered with them for the Don't Mess with Texas Trash Off, which was a big like day of service, clean the highway type situation. And I can't, it looks like it's going on in April.
Yeah, that's when Earth Day is, right? April 22nd.
That sounds right.
Yeah. That could be something interesting to get into. I'm saving all these links. Thanks for sending those. And Sarah, thanks for sending those ones as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a little under the weather, so I'm not on camera and not talking a lot, but there's some links there.
Feel better.
Dang, I wanted to ask you a question, Jenkins. Going back to options for current, I know we're talking kind of future options now and stuff for the next quarter, but current, I know that you're heavily involved in, you know, organizations helping with mental health and stuff? Is there
Yeah.
outlets that our organization could know about that some people could get involved there? I know that's such a rising topic and concern over the past 2 years for so many people.
Yeah. Two of the groups that I've worked with in the past are the National Alliance on Mental Illness, or NAMI. And they do lots of different things throughout the year, but their biggest thing is the NAMI Walks fundraisers. And then the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, or AFSP. I'll drop both those links in the chat, but those are groups that I've done walks with, and you can volunteer to be, a organizer of some of their events. You can do fundraising. A lot of them will do smaller events throughout the year and may have opportunities for you to like mentor or partner with them. So yeah, I'll drop those in the chat too, because they're great groups and always have different things going throughout the year.
Awesome. We try to open this up to y'all because we want to, if somebody has a passion, we want our team to jump behind it. If somebody has an area of focus that really needs help, then we want to jump behind it. What's different for us than other Rotary groups is that we don't have a community essentially to serve. So if somebody has a need in the community they're in, we want to jump behind that. So that's why we want to have this open conversation and talk with our entire team about this, because we want y'all to support Leaders in Service Rotary, but we want to support everybody's initiatives here as well. So that's why we're asking these questions and kind of going through this, is because that's very important for us. So I'm gonna say, if I don't hear another suggestion in the next 30 seconds, we're gonna kind of move on to the next piece. Going to the Riley people, sometimes we leave the silence, the uncomfortable silence, open to get people to talk. So I'll give 30 seconds to a minute on that, and then we'll move on. Okay. So moving on, we'll kind of jump to membership stuff, but just want to remind everybody, keep the thought in mind as to what you might want to do for that service project. Throw it on the spreadsheet if it's something you want to commit to, or if it's just an idea that you want to float to the rest of the team, that they might click the link and say, oh, that's something I'd really like to do. So please, y'all, look at that spreadsheet, post on it, use that as an open form of communication with the team. Reach out to myself or Sarah or Madeline or Elizabeth, anybody, that you have questions, and say, hey, is this a good idea? We're always open to hear that. But kind of moving on to membership, what I want to talk about here today is mainly on growing this club. So we have a phenomenal group of people that we've been working with here, all of you that join in every week. But we want to obviously spread what we're doing to more and have a little bit more manpower to be able to execute on different things. So just a reminder to everybody that our club is open to any person who wants to join. Really, there's not a lot of limitations. I mean, yeah, there's an application that gets filled out, but as long as you're, you know, an upstanding person who has kind of the same alignment with what our club was set on, then you're going to be involved. And that's not, you know, there's no limitation as to, you know, age. Well, maybe a little bit of limitation on the age, because we have some special things set up for like our college age people with different membership statuses and stuff like that. And the younger people can be involved in Rotaract and some other stuff, but no other limitations, you know, as far as ethnicity, gender, or anything like that. I want to make that clear, and I think all y'all know that from being in our group, that's, you know, we're a very diverse group that you know, is inviting to anybody around. So first of all, you know, want to make that point. Second, you know, please make an effort if you all can over the next couple months just to invite somebody to a meeting, get them involved, you know, by attending and see what we do, and then continue to kind of foster that relationship. You know, I want to see if Wes has the ability to come off of mute. I would like to hear, and I would like the group to hear from a professional sales pitch guy on how do you go about telling somebody to come join a meeting, join the club. I know we have people who have been on the receiving side of your pitch here as well, so I'd love to hear that too. But if we could hear from Wes, you know, what's your strategy? I think we can't hear you there, Wes. Still muted.
Michael, do you know you're still sharing your screen?
Is that better?
Yeah.
Tired of seeing yourself
I don't see myself like 5 times anymore.
Yeah. I see Wes came off of mute, but we're still not hearing you. So if we're not able to get Wes in here to be able to hear him, and maybe he can figure out in the next few minutes, I'd love to hear from Clayton or Christy or Kiera, Haley, you know, anybody who Wes has kind of brought into the fold. You know, what was his approach on that? What made you fall in love or like, you know, our club enough to decide to start courting us? And then what did you learn from that to kind of replicate?
Yeah, I'll speak up. You know, Wes just kept on asking, persistence, and
Very persistent.
I don't like to say no, and Wes is a great guy. I have a lot of respect for him. That's one reason I joined. But then I started coming to the meetings. I really like, you know, what we're doing and everybody, and so that's pretty much it. But it's a great organization and a great program. You know, it does good. So that's it.
I second that. I think just the fact that many of us kind of, as you were saying about joining, like there's a lot of upstanding people here. I think it's a very good networking opportunity since everybody comes from different like backgrounds and have different professional jobs. I think that's cool. There's like attorneys, there's students, I'm not sure what most of you do, but I hear a lot of different diversity in this group, and the fact that y'all are very passionate about servicing the communities, I think is what kind of got me most interested.
The crux of this pitch to me, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say the crux of this pitch to me was, oh, you're new to Tyler. Do you need friends? Come join. And he promised that they weren't all, using his language, old like him. So.
You know, you guys should be thankful. Wes and I are helping bring up the average age group of this club. You know, so hey. It's usually the other way around. We're trying to bring people like you guys in to bring the average age down. So
Our
I was about
average
to say, our
age when we
ceiling is a lot
chartered,
lower than other clubs I've been in.
yeah, our average age when we chartered, I'm not sure what it is right now, but our average age at chartering was 29.
I was
That's
gonna say
pretty
it's
cool.
got to be the low 30s, mid 30s,
Yeah,
maybe.
probably about 30 to
You had
33
us.
now.
You had me and Wes in there. Will help a little bit. Bring it up.
Yeah, I'm average.
And it's also there's a lot more women in this club than most clubs. So
Heck yeah, we're the majority.
Let's go, girls.
Da, da, da,
That was
da.
a spot on Shania Twain. No, I'm not gonna lie.
I had it
I
on mute, but I was doing the dance.
I was gonna say one thing that I guess I think about whenever I do invite people, and I think that a lot of times I've had a few people join here and there just to listen to guest speakers, and I guess I feel like if they get enough of the club and there is an interesting speaker joining that I think that person would particularly be interested in, then I invite them back. I would invite them back then maybe to a networking meeting where it's more like this. They can see the club, they can hear about what we're trying to do. But I will admit, I think maybe just the follow-up is probably the most important piece. And kind of, Clayton, you said Wes just kept asking. So maybe just, following up continuously. How'd you like the meeting? Well, hey, we're having another meeting this week. I'd love for you to join.
That's a good point. And Wes dropped a really good comment in the chat. Said I think if you guys have that chat open, read that. It's a phenomenal point. I guess Sarah made me think of one other thing that I kind of wanted to ask the entire group. And please feel free to be as critical as you would like to be in this. But on these meetings that we have that are not speakers and they're a little bit more open, we call them our networking meetings, and we kind of work some different things into that. What would do you like those, first of all? I know they change in topic a little bit. What would you like to see more of in that? Would you prefer more speakers, or do you like when we have this opportunity? And then would you like, within those, if we do stay kind of on that networking side, what's something that you would like to learn, or something that we could bring aside from a speaker that would add value to y'all for that?
a lot of clubs do classification speeches. So all of us could, at some point when we do these networking things, one of us could just give a short network classification speech. Like, I would talk about what I do. You talk about what you do. And I think we've done that a little bit, but that's one thing we could do with the networking part of it, just to kind of talk about, somebody can do a classification talk and then go off from there. I know we do those sometimes in our regular clubs.
Well, and to tie that to Kira and Haley's point too, there is a lot of diversity in our membership in terms of what we do, how we got to be doing what it is that we do. But also, again, to Haley's point, that's how we get to know each other. And since we don't get to have the buffet chats, that's what I called the conversations that I had with members when I was getting my plate, when I was at a traditional meeting. That's how I got to know people. It wasn't during the structured part of everything. And that's harder to replicate in this environment, which is why I like the idea of the social meetings. But we have to use those in such a way where we can actually get to know each other and develop friendships on a deeper level, so to speak.
Yeah, and personally, I've always liked the networking meetings that were a little more freeform, because like Elizabeth said, it does help us start to have conversations as people and members of the club, and does, instill that social aspect of the club. Obviously, we're, service-minded people, or we wouldn't be here. And our objectives on completing the quarterly service projects and getting speakers in to talk to us. But, I didn't join the club to necessarily listen to speakers. I joined the club to get service and, you know, have a social network of, you know, friends and professionals that I can interact with on a regular basis. And so this is that aspect. And I think it's an important part of the Rotary experience where we do get, it feels a little more like a club and less like a meeting, you know, a meeting you sit in the back of and, you know, okay, I'll check that off my list and go about my life. So helps feel more like a group, an actual that we can belong to me.
I really like those answers. And I think I feel the same way. While Michael and I are just kind of attempting to put a little bit of structure to our networking meetings so that we do have the ability to network in a large group via the computer. Would you all be interested in maybe just, I hate to relate this to RILA because so many of you aren't at RILA, but maybe we have something like our unfinished sentences cards where everyone gets a question and everyone has a different question and we go around and we answer that so that everyone has a chance to kind of get to know each other a little bit better, especially with the new members that we have in our club.
I love that idea. And for people who don't know unfinished sentences, I think they would understand the value of that. I think that's huge.
Even if it's just, you know, fun questions, but something that we could do every networking meeting. We're like, okay, I'm going to send you a question beforehand before our meeting and you can answer when we come around to that during our actual Rotary meeting. You can answer that question on the call.
That can also help with membership retention and attendance.
Okay, I'm writing that down.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the few times, and I think they're mainly like the happy hour ones. But when y'all pose a question or like just a couple questions that we can kind of each take turns answering, like the holiday one, we asked a few. Like I learned more about y'all in that 5 minutes than I do in all the other meetings. So I think they're really fun. They don't have to be serious. I mean, just like, what did you eat for breakfast? You know, like something to get us talking.
Yeah. Okay. We'll work on that.
Yeah. Make them fun. Don't make them, you know, politics and religion and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make it, you know, movies and
we'll talk about the serious
yeah.
stuff when we have guest speakers.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, some of those unfinished sentences cards get really deep. So let's pick the lighter ones.
No. No. We had a whole talk about that.
they're totally different than they used to be. They don't induce a serious cry sessions. They're more fun and but that was just my idea to just have little questions that we can each answer. I think might be just have us more fulfilled at the end of our meeting with us learning a little bit more about each other.
Love it.
Michael, do you want to move on to RILA?
Yeah, sorry, I get distracted with the chat because I don't read as fast as most people, and so, yeah. So, thank you all so much for that input. That really helps give us some guidance and direction as far as what people love, how we can improve on that. So, thank you so much on that. So, what we're going to spend this last few minutes, we're going to kind of turn it over to some of our people who are just involved in service this last weekend with another organization within Rotary called RILA, which if for those who are not familiar with RILA, it is the Rotary Youth Leadership, and they changed it to not award anymore. It's something else, right?
I think it's still technically a word right now. They haven't really
Okay.
yet. I don't know what they're changing it to though.
So half the people on this call probably have been involved in this. So it's great for us to share it with people who maybe haven't had this experience. But RILA has held a big part in our lives and many people around the country. It's a leadership camp essentially for high school juniors. So they essentially, the process is that there's a Rotary Club that sponsors, a local high school to send 2-4 students or something like that. So these kids apply, they get filtered out through interviews and through their counselors and things like that to pick people who, show some potential in leadership. And as we have learned through the years of attending RILA, that's a very diverse group of people who can be considered leaders. I loved, seeing sometimes where you would have that person who typically sitting at the back of the room that the counselor noticed was, this is a leader. So you get an awesome experience working with those kids, and it's a life-changing event really for those kids. And then they have the opportunity to kind of be asked back as a senior to help counsel, and then they kind of move up through the ranks of things there, which a lot of us have done at some point. So what I would like to do at this point, just so y'all, everybody can kind of get a sense of what that looks like, I'd like to pass that over. Let's start with Sarah Tucker. I'm just going, you're at the top left of my screen, and Elizabeth's the second person. So we'll go Sarah, Elizabeth, and Emma Faye, who were just there this last weekend.
Yeah, so the first thing that I want everyone in our club to be aware of is that our club sent 2 high school juniors to RILA this year. And what that means is that 2 high school students were put through this sometimes uncomfortable but very rewarding camp where they kind of break out of their shell. I can vouch specifically because I didn't know that one of the kids that we sent to RILA ended up being on my team until the end of RILA. But the thing is that these kids learn and grow so much in their leadership skills, but also in their self-esteem, which is one of the 8 characteristics of RILA. So we sent 2 students. They had a great experience. I spoke to both of them after RILA, and I will be doing my best to try and get them to come and talk to our club about their experience. So I'll have them prepare something very brief so that they can share that with us. We'll send students, I think it's our goal as a club to send students every year to RILA. So I'm going to go ahead and read you guys the Rilarian Creed that will hopefully give you a better understanding of what RILA is. So it is, I am a Rilarian. Uncompromising integrity is my standard. My character and my honor are steadfast. My word is my bond. I lead by example in all situations. And the 8 characteristics of RILA are trust, self-esteem, planning, teamwork, problem solving, and you guys help me out with what the rest of them are.
I'm cheating and putting them in the chat right now.
Okay, great. Put them in the chat. So these are the things that we specifically hone in on and teach. And we ask them, the facilitators in these groups of the kids, ask them thought-provoking questions in order to facilitate the lesson for each of these things. They're put through a rigorous outdoor course called COPE. It stands for Challenging Outdoor Personal Experience. And actually, Delane isn't here today, I don't believe, but she was actually our COPE director this year. And so this experience is a low ropes and a high ropes course where on Saturday they work with their teams to, can you get from this platform to the other platform only using a rope? But oh, you can't touch the rope. You don't get the rope. You have to figure out how to get it. It's hanging in the middle. Or your whole team has to stand on this log and say your ABCs, but it's swinging log. So there's all these random challenges that they get put through. Then there's high ropes where there's a big self-esteem aspect on this day where they have to climb these really high things and their team has to cheer them on and help them through it. So that's kind of the basic description of what RILA is for these kids. It's so much deeper, so I'm going to pass it on to Elizabeth.
Yeah, so for me, so I was actually serving as camp director this past year. And just to give you all a little bit more context and kind of the structure, Sarah mentioned that these students are assigned to teams. We have team leaders and assistant team leaders who are former participants and or active Rotarians that help to facilitate them through basically starting as strangers on Friday night, because all of these kids are from different high schools, different communities. They're all mixed up and divided up into teams where they more than likely don't know anybody and are put through a night of trust building activities, learning skills that will help them to be successful when they're on the low ropes course the next day on Saturday. And then through that bonding experience, ultimately are able to successfully as a team complete some of the high elements that she was describing on Sunday. The goal is taking basically this team of strangers and giving them skills to work with each other, lead each other through these challenges, so that once they leave the weekend long camp, they're able to go back into their schools and communities with a better understanding of those 8 leadership traits, with the fortitude to live by that Rylarian creed that Sarah shared a little bit earlier. For a lot of us that kind of started this club, and I say us, I wasn't a founding member, but for a lot of the founding members, this was our introduction to Rotary. And one of my goals in becoming director and leading these kids through over the last 4 years now has been wanting to introduce the concepts of Rotary to these kids and show them, the Rotarians in their communities, the Rotarians around the world have a passion for service, have a desire to help guide them to be successful in whatever it is that they're going to move on to, whether that's college, professional careers, whatever that looks like for that individual student. For our weekends that we've had this year, so the way it's structured, we have a staff training weekend where we have all of our staff volunteers, again, either former participants or active Rotarians, come so that they have the skill set to lead our high school juniors through their experience. And then we have 2 separate sessions that are essentially geographic divide between District 5830. And so through these experiences, we've connected with, final number for juniors this year was around between 130 and 140. I'd have to do the math. And we were a little bit smaller this year just because of COVID concerns, because of, like I mentioned at the beginning of the call, an ice storm that happened at the beginning of session 1 where the roads were pretty bad. And so our numbers were a little bit smaller this year. But our goal is really to instill these values in the future leaders of our communities in District 5830. And so through the dedication of our team leaders, through the dedication of all of our volunteers that come and participate in this program, that's what we're working to do. And so I was just so incredibly blown away, like I am every year, by the growth that we saw in these students, the growth that we saw in our staff. Most of our staff are college-age students, and so in a lot of ways, they're still developing their own leadership skills and identity. And we get to see that growth over time as well for the ones that are called back. And so that is kind of in a nutshell how we do what we do. I'll kick it over to Emma Faye so she can talk a little bit about her weekend and how all of that went too.
One last quick question for Elizabeth. Elizabeth, how many Rotary clubs sponsored students for this session 1 or session 2 or per session?
Layla would be better able to answer that question. We didn't get everybody in the district this year for a variety of reasons. I want to say all but maybe 5 of our district clubs did. So whatever that number is, I don't know. I know that Tyler and Longview and Texarkana and Paris always have the largest numbers. But like I said, we had 67 campers at session 1 and I want to say 82 at session 2.
And I just wanted to talk about one camper. I was a team leader at session 2 this past weekend. And let me tell you, when you first saw him, he looked like he did not want to be there. He was very reserved, very closed off. And you try to discuss with him and would barely say the minimal. And that was kind of the same thing. He kind of talked to like one of the other guys, but it didn't really seem like he was very enthusiastic about like team chants or being very loud and really take that initiative of being the leader in an activity. He was more of like the follower, which is totally fine because you could just lead by example. And I don't know if we were supposed to do this, but I'm definitely not going to share this to anyone else, but I was very touched by it. And so by Sunday, so we go through all these types of exercises and team building things and high ropes course. And even still on Sunday before we left, to me, he was either like still kind of annoyed, but thought it was a pretty cool experience or whichever. But on his evaluation, it said, "What will you tell your friends and family about Ryla?" And this is what he wrote down. He said, "It was the best experience I have ever had." And I would never have thought that. He would never have told us that. But him writing that down really got us. It was just like, okay, that's great. And we don't go in thinking like, yeah, we're going to make an impact. We hope to, but he was definitely one that took us by surprise of things happening on the inside, but he definitely did not express anything on the outside. So that's a lot of campers too, not just my team, but I'm sure there's like several that it's such a different experience. They don't know how to express that or really how to take it in. It can be kind of overwhelming in the best way.
Yeah, so I'd like to make 2 points here, guys. For one, we're always taking volunteers, right, at Ryla. I mean, I don't think Elizabeth and those people will turn you down if we can have some people who will come and help out. You do have to attend the training part. That's very important. But this is another way that people can get involved, especially since we're sponsoring campers. And the other thing I just want to make a comment on is this is fostering future Rotarians. Golly, I'm struggling with that today.
That's the word you're looking for.
This is fostering future Rotarians. I can tell y'all from personal experience that I had a similar kind of feeling like MFA's camper did coming into the weekend. Like, man, I'm missing a soccer tournament, and like, what am I doing? And like, they split us all up, and things were weird. And I learned what Ryla was about and how important it was. I created relationships with people across half the, can't say half, but like a large amount of Texas as I was starting to go into college and was going to overlap with someone. And then I was given the opportunity to have to be given a scholarship even to attend college from this. So when we look at what our club can do in the future that we can have, we're already on step 1 of being able to send kids to this. That's a life-changing experience for them to possibly change their path on how they're going to develop as a leader and impact their communities, but and then also possibly be a future Rotarian. But we're also given the opportunity in the future as we continue to build our club and do more in service and have a little more in the bank, that we can actually provide people scholarships to go past Ryla. So I think it was awesome that we were able to hear from Sarah and Elizabeth and MFA about this kind of stuff, because it is such a huge impact on these young kids, and we have more of an opportunity to provide an impact. Because I'll tell you, it's not, when you go to Ryla, it's not like, oh, these are all the high school jocks who you think are like, who a counselor or who a random person would say who's the leader in the school. That's not at all what it is. It's people who come from all different backgrounds who need this support and this opportunity, and some people who have never been recognized as a potential leader who finally got the spark to say, I can capture my potential and can do something with that. And so, I love hearing from all these people about this, and I want to put this in your all's minds that this is what we're growing towards, is being able to even take that a step further in the future and impact these kids as we look at opportunities to send them with a little more money to college and things like that. So thank you all so much, Sarah Elizabeth, MFA, for sharing some of that. I'd like to, we're pretty much past this time here now, and we can kind of end the meeting and stuff, but I'd like to, we'll close with our 4-way test, and then we'll stay on for people who have any extra questions about that kind of stuff, whether it's involvement, membership, the service projects. We'll hang out for a little bit just to talk with y'all on that. So I didn't type this out already. Does everybody know? Do I need to type it out? Yeah. I need to type it out.
Got it memorized.
Is it true? Oh, somebody's already typing it? All right, somebody get the last two.
You're racing, Michael.
I guarantee you're a faster typer than me. I do all my magic talking on the phone, so.
Or you can fax
Can't
it.
promise there won't be typos.
Yeah.
Good one, Wes.
Oh, Wes.
You are on it tonight with the jokes.
And this is
Wes,
without
I
having
think
him on
is
audio.
The funniest person in the club.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We got them all. Is it the truth? Is it turtle?
We got them all.
Perfect.
Follow
All right.
my text, not Wes's.
Yeah. So skip Wes's. We'll leave that as an asterisk on the end. But starting with number 1.
Is
it the truth?
Is it the truth? Number 2.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Number 3.
Is it legal?
Will it build
better friendships?
And number 4.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you all so much for being here. I feel like this was extremely productive. Getting to hear from y'all what how to set the direction for our club, because that's what it's all about. In this past, or the first year and a half that we've been, and in the next couple of years as we grow, we want to set up what we truly believe is the best for our Rotary Club, and it's going to be different from Rotary clubs that exist, and we hope to hell that that's the way it stays, because we want to be inclusive. We want to be the change that Rotary is looking to have. So thank you all so much for being here. We'll hang out for another couple minutes for those questions, whether it's on RILA membership, service, or anything else under the sun. And for those of you who want to jump, see you next time.